Respect is not built in one day, and it is not destroyed in one day either. Respect grows slowly, through small actions, and it disappears the same way, through small behaviors repeated many times. Stoic philosophers understood this very well. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." In simple words, this means something important. Do not just talk about good character, practice it every day. The goal is to become better. Comment, "I choose strength." Let's begin with the first habit. Number 1, gossiping. Gossip looks like a normal conversation, but it quietly destroys your reputation, and many people realize this only after the damage has already happened. Imagine sitting with friends or co-workers, and the conversation slowly turns towards someone who is not in the room, and suddenly the focus shifts from ideas to people, and small details about someone's life become entertainment, while everyone laughs or adds another piece of information. And in that moment it feels harmless, it feels normal, it even feels like bonding. Yet something invisible happens inside the minds of the people listening, because the moment someone hears you speak about another person behind their back, a silent calculation begins in their mind, and they begin wondering what you say about them when they are not present. They may not say this out loud, but the thought sits there quietly, and it begins weakening the trust they had in you. Respect rarely disappears instantly, but gossip starts the slow erosion of it. And the reason this habit is so dangerous is because most people participate in it without thinking. They treat it like social currency. They repeat stories they heard earlier in the day. They share private moments that were never meant to become public conversation, and they do it thinking they are simply being social, while in reality, they are teaching everyone around them that their loyalty is weak and their discipline is weak. A person who spreads gossip cannot be trusted with responsibility, cannot be trusted with confidential information, and cannot be trusted with serious conversations. And over time, people naturally begin placing you in a smaller category in their minds. They still talk to you, but they stop involving you in meaningful matters. They stop taking your words seriously, and they stop trusting your judgment. This is one of the reasons many people feel confused about why others seem to respect them less, even though they believe they are friendly and open, because friendliness without discipline quickly turns into carelessness, and gossip is one of the clearest signs of careless speech. Disciplined speech is one of the strongest signals of character, because it shows that your mind is focused on what matters, rather than on tearing down others for entertainment. Imagine two individuals in the same group discussion. One constantly brings up stories about other people's mistakes and personal drama, while the other calmly directs the conversation toward ideas, improvement, and meaningful topics. The difference becomes obvious very quickly, because the second person communicates stability while the first communicates insecurity. Stability attracts respect, while insecurity pushes it away. People instinctively trust those who show restraint in their words, because restraint signals inner control and inner control signals strength. Now consider your own life and your own conversations. Think about the last time you spoke about someone who was not present. Ask yourself honestly whether the information you shared improved anything, or whether it simply satisfied a short moment of curiosity or amusement. Most gossip exists only to entertain the ego for a few minutes, yet it costs you something far more valuable, which is your reputation. Disciplined people understand that every word you speak is a small investment in your identity. Each conversation either strengthens how people see you or weakens it, and gossip almost always weakens it. The solution is simple but requires awareness and courage, because the next time someone starts speaking about another person in a negative or mocking way, you must pause and decide what kind of person you want to be known as. You can either join the conversation and gain a few seconds of approval from the group, or you can redirect the conversation towards something more constructive. This does not require confrontation or lectures. It simply requires changing the subject towards something useful or remaining neutral without contributing to the negativity. At first, this may feel uncomfortable because many social environments are built around gossip, and removing yourself from that pattern may make others notice the difference in your behavior. But that difference is exactly what begins rebuilding respect around you. People start observing that you do not participate in tearing others down, and over time they begin trusting you with deeper conversations and more serious matters because they know your words are controlled and thoughtful. Disciplined speech also changes how you see yourself, because when you stop speaking negatively about others, your mind gradually becomes less focused on criticism and more focused on improvement. You begin thinking about ideas instead of people's weaknesses, about solutions instead of entertainment based on someone else's embarrassment. This mental shift alone can transform your presence in social situations because conversations around you become more meaningful and people recognize that speaking with you adds value rather than spreading negativity. Developing this habit requires daily attention, and one practical method helps strengthen it quickly, which is asking yourself a simple internal question before speaking about someone who is not present. Would you say the same words if that person were standing beside you right now? If the answer is no, then the sentence should never leave your mouth, because integrity means your words remain consistent, whether someone is present or not. People who live by this rule gain a powerful reputation for fairness and reliability, and that reputation spreads quietly through every interaction you have. Imagine building a personal standard where your conversations consistently focus on ideas, solutions, learning, and improvement rather than personal attacks or gossip. Imagine people realizing that discussions with you always move toward clarity instead of confusion. Over time, this creates a powerful shift in how others treat you because respect naturally grows around those who demonstrate self-control in speech and consistency in character. Many individuals spend years trying to demand respect from others without realizing that respect cannot be demanded through words or titles. It grows from daily habits that signal discipline and awareness, and controlling gossip is one of the simplest yet most powerful of those habits. Once you remove this behavior from your life, you begin noticing how much more productive and calm your conversations become. You also begin recognizing how often gossip appears in ordinary discussions and how easily it spreads through groups that lack direction. This awareness strengthens your ability to stay focused on what truly matters, which is building a reputation based on integrity, clarity, and thoughtful communication. And when people consistently observe that your words do not shift, depending on who is in the room, they begin associating your presence with reliability and calm judgment. That association becomes the foundation of long-term respect and influence. And the most powerful part of this transformation is that it does not require dramatic changes in your life. It simply requires controlling one habit that most people ignore, yet that single change sends a clear signal to everyone around you that your mind is disciplined and your character is grounded in principles rather than impulse. And that signal alone has the power to completely change the way others see you and interact with you every single day. And as you begin to recognize how disciplined speech reshapes your reputation and the way people treat you, many ask a deeper question. How do you build that same discipline, clarity, and strength in every part of your life and relationships? That is exactly why the Stoic Relationship Blueprint audiobook for men exists, a guide filled with timeless Stoic principles that help you develop self-respect, calm judgment, and a presence that naturally earns respect from others. It is now available in audiobook format, so you can absorb these life-changing lessons while walking, jogging, driving, or simply taking quiet time for yourself, turning ordinary moments into powerful moments of growth. The link is in the comments, and once you have it, this knowledge is yours for life, something you can return to whenever you need clarity, strength, or direction. If you are ready to replace confusion with purpose and build a life guided by discipline and wisdom, this audiobook becomes a companion that keeps guiding you forward every step of the way. Number 2. Breaking promises. Nothing weakens your reputation faster than breaking your word, and most people do not realize how deeply this single habit shapes the way others judge their character, because promises are not just sentences spoken in conversation, but signals that reveal discipline, reliability, and self-control. Imagine someone in your life who always says they will do something, yet somehow it rarely happens the way they described. They promise to arrive at a certain time but appear much later with an explanation. They promise to complete a task, but delays appear again and again. They promise commitment, yet their attention drifts whenever something more convenient appears. After enough repetition, people stop reacting to their promises because their words have lost weight. They may still speak confidently, yet their reputation quietly shrinks in the minds of everyone around them, and this same pattern may already be affecting your life without you noticing, because every time you say you will do something, you are placing a small test in front of yourself and everyone who hears you, and the result of that test determines whether your credibility grows stronger or weaker. Many individuals speak quickly without considering the consequences of their commitments because they want approval in the moment. They want the conversation to move smoothly, they want to appear helpful or dependable. Yet once the moment passes, they discover the promise requires discipline and effort that they were not ready to give. So excuses appear, explanations appear, circumstances become the reason the commitment was not fulfilled. Yet from the outside, people do not analyze the situation in detail. They simply observe the pattern and reach a quiet conclusion about your character. And that conclusion influences every future interaction you have with them. When someone believes your word carries little weight, they begin protecting themselves by lowering their expectations. They stop trusting deadlines you give them. They hesitate before relying on your support. They begin giving opportunities to someone else whose behavior proves more consistent. This is how many people slowly lose influence in workplaces, friendships, and relationships without understanding why others stop taking them seriously. And the painful truth is that reliability is one of the clearest signals of inner discipline, because it demonstrates that your actions remain aligned with your words, even when circumstances become inconvenient. People respect individuals who keep their commitments because it shows that their identity is not dependent on temporary motivation, but on consistent standards. Imagine a person who promises very little, yet delivers exactly what they say every single time. Their words may be simple, yet they carry tremendous power, because everyone around them knows those words represent action rather than intention. This kind of reputation creates trust that spreads quietly through every environment they enter. When they speak, others listen carefully because their statements are backed by a history of reliability. When they accept responsibility, people relax because they know the task will be handled properly. This transformation is available to anyone willing to practice one difficult discipline, which is speaking less but delivering more. Instead of agreeing to every request automatically, you pause and examine whether you truly have the time, energy, and commitment required to fulfill that promise. If the answer is uncertain, you respond honestly rather than agreeing just to avoid temporary discomfort. Many individuals fear saying no because they worry it will disappoint others in the moment. Yet the truth is that honest limits build more respect than unreliable promises. People eventually appreciate those who communicate clearly about what they can and cannot do, because clarity prevents frustration later. Once you begin protecting your word carefully, something remarkable happens because every promise you make becomes stronger. You no longer scatter commitments across countless directions. Instead, you concentrate your effort on the few responsibilities you deliberately accept. This focus increases the quality of your actions and gradually changes the way others view your presence. Imagine someone asking whether you will handle an important task, and you respond with calm certainty rather than rushed enthusiasm, because you already know your schedule and your priorities. When you say yes, the work is completed exactly as promised and without excuses. This repeated behavior builds a reputation that cannot be ignored, because reliability becomes part of your identity. Relationships also change when your word becomes dependable, because trust grows naturally between people who demonstrate. Consistency. Trust allows deeper cooperation and deeper conversations because others know your commitments are genuine rather than temporary enthusiasm. Another powerful practice strengthens this habit even further, which is writing down the commitments you make each day, not as a complicated system, but as a simple list that reminds you that every promise carries responsibility. When you see those commitments clearly, your mind begins treating them with greater seriousness, and you become less likely to speak casually about responsibilities you cannot fulfill. This small discipline also trains your attention toward priorities rather than distractions, because fulfilling promises requires focus on what truly matters rather than constant shifts in attention. And this is where Stoic thinking becomes practical, because it emphasizes mastery over impulse. Many broken promises originate from impulse decisions, where someone agrees to something without evaluating whether it aligns with their priorities. Controlling this impulse strengthens your character because it teaches you to act according to principles rather than temporary pressure. Imagine the confidence that grows when you know your word carries weight in every room you enter. Imagine conversations where people trust your judgment because your actions consistently confirm your statements. This kind of influence does not come from loud speech or impressive appearances, but from disciplined reliability repeated day after day. And the most powerful aspect of this transformation is that it begins with something extremely simple, which is honoring the next promise you make today, no matter how small it may appear. Because each fulfilled commitment strengthens the habit of integrity, and each act of integrity rebuilds the reputation that many people unknowingly damage through careless speech. Over time, you begin noticing that opportunities appear more often around you because individuals naturally prefer working with someone whose word remains stable under pressure. And this stability becomes one of the most respected traits in any environment, because it shows that your actions are guided by principles rather than convenience. Once this pattern becomes part of your life, the difference in how others respond to you becomes undeniable, because they recognize that when you speak, you are not simply expressing intention, but declaring an action that will be completed exactly as promised, and that reputation has the power to transform the way people treat you in every area of life. Number 3, interrupting others. Interrupting others quietly destroys the respect people have for you, because the moment you cut someone off in the middle of their sentence, you send a powerful signal that your words matter more than theirs. And even though this action lasts only a few seconds, its effect on how people judge your character can last much longer. Imagine sitting in a conversation where someone begins explaining an idea, and before they finish, another voice jumps in. The rhythm of the discussion breaks instantly, and the person speaking loses their train of thought while the one interrupting rushes to present their opinion as quickly as possible. Many people do this without malicious intent, yet the impact remains the same, because interruption communicates impatience, lack of discipline, and a desire to dominate the conversation rather than understand it. And people notice this pattern very quickly, because humans instinctively observe how others behave during dialogue. They watch who listens carefully and who competes for attention. They notice who respects the space of others and who constantly pushes their own voice to the front. And over time, they begin categorizing individuals based on these behaviors. Those who interrupt repeatedly are viewed as self-focused and difficult to engage with, while those who listen fully are seen as thoughtful and composed. This difference explains why some individuals naturally gain influence in discussions, while others struggle to be taken seriously even when they have valuable ideas. The problem is not always the content of their thoughts, but the manner in which they present them. Many people interrupt because they are afraid their idea will disappear if they do not speak immediately. Yet disciplined thinkers understand that strong ideas remain strong even after a pause, and that patience during conversation actually strengthens the impact of what you eventually say. Imagine two people in the same meeting where multiple opinions are being exchanged. One jumps in, constantly cutting others off, while the other waits quietly until each person finishes before responding with clarity and calm focus. Which individual appears more confident and reliable to the rest of the room? The answer becomes obvious because patience communicates control, while constant interruption communicates insecurity, and insecurity quickly erodes respect, because people sense that the person speaking is more concerned with proving themselves than with understanding the conversation as a whole. Disciplined listening creates a very different impression, because when you allow someone to finish their thoughts completely, you gather more information about their perspective, and you demonstrate that you value clarity more than attention. This practice requires effort, because the urge to interrupt often appears suddenly when an idea forms in your mind, and you want to express it immediately. Yet mastering that impulse is one of the most powerful habits you can develop, because it trains your mind to remain calm instead of reactive. Individuals who control this impulse gradually become known for thoughtful responses rather than impulsive reactions, and this reputation increases the weight of their words, because when they finally speak, others understand that their contribution is deliberate rather than rushed. Imagine the difference between a person who speaks constantly and one who speaks carefully. The first creates noise while the second creates impact. And over time, people begin seeking the opinion of the second person because they trust the quality of what will be said. This transformation begins with a simple decision during every conversation, which is to focus entirely on understanding the other person before preparing your response. When someone speaks, direct your attention toward the meaning behind their words, rather than toward the sentence you want to deliver next. Notice how often the urge to interrupt appears, and treat that urge as a signal to pause instead of act. This pause allows the conversation to unfold naturally, and often reveals additional information that strengthens your eventual reply. Once the speaker finishes, you respond with clarity and confidence, because your mind has processed the entire message rather than fragments of it. This approach not only improves the quality of your responses, but also changes how others experience conversations with you, because they sense that you are present and attentive rather than impatient and distracted. And people naturally respect those who give them the rare experience of being heard without interruption. Another benefit appears when you develop this discipline, because listening carefully allows you to notice patterns in how others think and communicate. You begin understanding motivations, concerns, and priorities that would have remained hidden if you had rushed to speak earlier. This awareness strengthens your ability to respond wisely in both personal and professional situations, because you are no longer reacting blindly, but acting with full understanding of the conversation around you. Individuals who practice this consistently develop a reputation for calm authority, because their presence brings clarity instead of chaos to discussions. They become the person who helps guide conversations toward productive outcomes, rather than the person who disrupts them with constant interruptions. And this reputation spreads quietly through repeated interactions until people begin associating your presence with thoughtful communication and steady judgment. Another powerful exercise reinforces this habit, which is deliberately slowing your speech after someone finishes talking. Instead of responding instantly, allow a brief moment to pass while you organize your thoughts clearly. This short pause communicates confidence because it shows that you are not rushing to fill silence with words, but choosing your response carefully. Over time, this pattern transforms the way others interpret your behavior because your calm pace contrasts strongly with environments where everyone competes to speak first. Imagine entering conversations where your presence naturally encourages others to speak thoughtfully rather than quickly, because your example shifts the tone of the interaction. This influence emerges not from forceful speech, but from disciplined attention, and disciplined attention is one of the most respected traits a person can demonstrate. When people know that you listen fully before speaking, they become more open to sharing their ideas because they trust that their words will not be dismissed or cut off halfway through their explanation. This trust deepens relationships and strengthens collaboration because meaningful communication requires patience on both sides. By practicing this habit daily, you transform ordinary conversations into opportunities to build respect and understanding. And with time, you notice that people respond differently to your presence because they recognize the rare quality of someone who values listening as much as speaking. That recognition becomes the foundation of genuine respect because it signals that your mind operates with discipline rather than impulse, and that your contributions are shaped by understanding rather than by the need for attention. Number 4, constant complaining. Have you ever noticed how quickly people begin to distance themselves from someone who constantly speaks about everything that is wrong in their life? Because constant complaining quietly drains the respect people have for you, and most individuals never realize this pattern is shaping the way others judge their character every single day. Imagine waking up in the morning already listing everything that frustrates you: the traffic, the job, the expectations placed on you, the way people behave, the way plans fall apart. And at first, this habit seems harmless because it feels like a natural response to difficulties that appear in daily life, yet the moment complaining becomes your default response to challenges. Something deeper begins to change in how people perceive you. They begin associating your presence with problems rather than solutions, and slowly they stop seeking your perspective. When serious decisions arise because they expect negativity instead of clarity, individuals who constantly complain often believe they are simply expressing honesty about their circumstances. But the truth is that repeated complaining signals a lack of discipline over the mind, and people instinctively respect those who demonstrate control over their reactions rather than those who allow every inconvenience to dominate their thoughts. Disciplined thinking does not mean ignoring difficulties, but it means approaching them with responsibility rather than endless frustration. Imagine two individuals facing the exact same situation where a plan fails or an opportunity disappears. One immediately begins describing how unfair everything is and how other people are responsible for the outcome, while the other calmly evaluates what can still be done next. The difference between these responses determines how others judge their character, because responsibility creates confidence, while constant complaining creates doubt about a person's ability to handle pressure. Many people fall into this habit without noticing, because complaining often becomes a social routine where groups gather and trade frustrations about work, relationships, and daily obstacles. The conversation becomes a cycle where everyone competes to describe who has the worst situation, and for a moment this creates temporary bonding through shared dissatisfaction. Yet once the conversation ends, nothing improves, and the participants return to their lives carrying the same mindset that keeps them stuck in the same patterns. Disciplined thinkers break this cycle by training their attention toward action rather than endless analysis of what went wrong. When something difficult appears, they immediately ask what part of the situation remains within their control, and they direct their energy toward that area. Instead of repeating the same complaint again and again, this shift may appear small, yet it completely transforms the way others respond to you. Because people naturally respect those who bring direction into conversations rather than emotional weight. Imagine being known as the person who calmly identifies the next step when everyone else becomes trapped in frustration. This reputation grows through repeated behavior, where you redirect discussions from complaints toward practical decisions that improve the situation. Developing this habit requires awareness, because complaining often appears automatically in the mind when expectations clash with reality. The moment you notice yourself describing the same frustration, repeatedly you pause and examine whether the words you are speaking create progress or simply reinforce the problem in your mind. If the words lead nowhere, you redirect your attention toward an action that moves the situation forward. Even if that action is small, this discipline trains your thinking to focus on responsibility rather than blame, and gradually changes how you experience daily challenges, because you begin seeing them as opportunities to strengthen your character instead of as reasons to remain frustrated. Individuals who master this perspective develop a calm presence that others trust during uncertain moments, because they understand that complaining will not solve anything and that progress always begins with responsibility. Over time, people notice that conversations with you move toward clarity and improvement rather than endless negativity, and they begin involving you in decisions that require balanced judgment. This transformation also changes how you view yourself, because every time you replace a complaint with a constructive action, you strengthen the belief that your circumstances do not control your character. Your reactions do. Imagine living with the quiet confidence that even when situations become difficult, your response remains steady and purposeful rather than reactive. This confidence spreads into every area of life, including work, friendships, and relationships, because people naturally gravitate toward those who maintain composure during challenges instead of amplifying frustration. Another powerful exercise strengthens this mindset, which is ending every complaint with a practical step you can take immediately. If the situation can be improved, you act on it. If it cannot be changed, you shift your attention towards something productive instead of repeating the same frustration again later. This habit gradually rewires the way your mind approaches problems, because you stop feeding the cycle of negativity that keeps many individuals trapped in dissatisfaction. And as this pattern becomes part of your daily life, others begin recognizing the difference in your behavior, because your conversations bring direction and stability rather than emotional exhaustion. Respect grows naturally around those who demonstrate this kind of mental discipline, because it shows that their character remains steady regardless of external circumstances. And once people associate your presence with clarity, responsibility, and purposeful action, they begin trusting your judgment more deeply than before, because they know you will approach challenges with thoughtful determination instead of endless complaints. This reputation becomes one of the strongest foundations of long-term respect, because it proves that your mindset is guided by principles rather than by momentary frustration, and that your focus remains on building solutions even when situations are difficult. And that quiet strength gradually transforms the way people treat you in every environment you enter, because they recognize someone whose attention is directed toward progress instead of negativity. As you leave this video, remember that respect is not something the world gives you by accident. It is something you build through discipline, awareness, and the courage to correct habits most people ignore. If you are ready to take that transformation further, the Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men, filled with timeless Stoic principles that can reshape your mindset and relationships immediately, is waiting for you. It is now also available in audiobook form, so you can absorb these powerful lessons while walking, jogging, commuting, or during any quiet moment where you choose growth over distraction. If you are serious about changing your life, write, "Respect starts with me" in the comments, like this video, and subscribe so more people searching for clarity can discover these ideas and avoid years of mistakes.